I'm bringing some hope to a fearful topic for a lot of you. What makes you lose brain health, memory issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, brain decline, cognitive decline, all of the above? What makes you go there? And then reverse that, what you can do, what you can be eating, what are the remedies right now that you can be preventing losing any sort of brain function. I watched my grandmother have Alzheimer's, deteriorate, end up not knowing me or any family member at the end of her life. How do we not go there? Maybe you have a family member, maybe you have a friend, maybe you're already experiencing this yourself. There is no better time and no proper age to begin this process. Everyone should be practicing what I'm about to lay out for you. Now, before I dive in, if you are suffering from long haul viral memory loss, viral brain decline, and you know that's exactly what it is, I put a link in the description for you for a virus guide that's really been helping a lot of people, and a masterclass that really breaks down how you can bolster the immune system and undo that damage. That's a little bit separate than what I'm gonna cover right here. I wanna get into 7 different means by which your brain declines and how you can counteract them very quickly. Let's go. Number 1, right out of the gates, decreased brain development. And so your brain literally doesn't have the building blocks, doesn't have the material, stops growing, stops developing. You're constantly producing new brain cells. You're constantly firing and creating new neurons, memories, connections, emotions inside of your head. And so if your brain stops doing that, of course, there's essential shrinkage, there's lack of development. You're either growing or dying. So let's go the right direction. How can we do this? Well, one main brain food that you could be putting in are eggs. Eggs can do wonders for our brain health, specifically because of 2 nutrients. Now, these nutrients are certainly in other foods, but they're both very high in eggs. This is choline and lutein. And according to recent research, choline is an essential nutrient critical for fetal brain health. So babies need this to develop their brains, and then we do throughout our lifetime. It is found in some foods, but not a lot in America. And so that's why eggs, one of the great sources for this. And they're one of the highest amounts of choline of any food, and lutein, which is super important for development of the eyes, but also plays a role in cognitive function. So lutein has been long associated with eye health and the health of the eyes, obviously connected right to the brainstem, but it does play a role in our cognitive function. Eggs, get them organic, make sure they are a free-range form so that the animal is fed proper so the toxins don't end up in you. Very good for the brain and allowing further brain development. Problem number 2 with brain health, cognitive decline. So the synapses and the firing in the brain and the sharpness just isn't quite there from what you once had. So if you find yourself in that place and you feel just like, I just don't feel like I have the brain power I used to have, main food you want to focus on, fish. Fish is an incredible way to care for your brain. It's an incredible source of omega-3 fatty acids. Specifically, you're looking for EPA and DHA. They are the building blocks of the brain, the fat in the brain. Your brain is up to or in excess of 60% fat. It's primarily these EPAs and DHAs. Long-term consumption of adequate amounts of DHA is linked to improved memory, improved learning ability, and decreased rates of cognitive decline. So when it comes to choosing the best fish for your brain, a safe bet is to go for a fatty fish, more of a fatty kind. Salmon would be a great option. That's my favorite. The highest concentrations of omega-3 fatty acids are found in those cold water fish that are fatty. A sardine, we mentioned salmon, herring, tuna, cod, mackerel, halibut, even shark. You're going to want to make sure, though, that it is wild caught to eliminate as many chemicals as we can. You still can run out into some heavy metal concentrations. So trying to get as clean version as you can to optimize those omega-3 fatty acids that regulate the brain's function and help fight off memory decline. And studies have even shown that not consuming enough omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish are actually linked to depression. So this is going to make you happier. It's going to make your brain happier. It is absolutely crucial to maintain the health of your brain getting fish in every single week. If you struggle with getting fish in, then I recommend an omega-3 fish oil. EPA and DHA, very high in those. The one that I created has 750 milligrams of those two. So you get a big amount. If you double it, you get literally an NSAID, an anti-inflammatory that could be taken, but that's going to keep your brain fed with the food that it needs to stay sharp. Along those same lines that I added into that omega-3 is turmeric. And for that reason, I go to number 3 to prevent plaquing. That's right, there can be plaquing and buildup in the arteries and in the vessels of the brain. Curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, has been known to carry all the brain health benefits. Studies have shown when you highly absorb the turmeric, it can actually clear the plaquing that builds up in the brain that causes memory decline. So this plaquing buildup is not only a stroke risk problem, but it will decrease your memory and it increases chances of Alzheimer's. And turmeric has been shown in studies to reduce that. So we want to get this in, but not only get it in, but get it absorbed into the blood so it can make it to your brain. And the key to doing that is making sure it's emulsified, which is delivered with a fat delivery mechanism. Everything you eat in your body has to have a delivery system. Fat is the best one for turmeric. Now, some people will say black pepper. That's just irritating the gut to get some of it absorbed. But the absolute best way to increase the blood levels of your turmeric to have that anticoagulant effect as well as anti-plaquing effect, especially for your brain, is to use it with fats. So that's why I like to combine the omega and the turmeric together. And the turmeric has already got emulsified form of it to be delivered. And then you add it with the omega, you get extra emulsification so they both can get in there. It is brain food. So I put a link for that. You can get more information on it. It's the one that I use every single day, but check that out. Number 4, brain health declines when you lose neurotransmitters. These are the transmitters, the firers, the chemicals that make everything go in the synapses of your brain. And one key nutrient that you can take to enhance your body's ability to keep these neurotransmitters coming is B12. Now you might think of B12 as just energy, but I guess this is brain energy. B12 is especially important for improving overall mental health. The vitamin plays a vital role in producing the neurotransmitter serotonin. Serotonin is responsible for stabilizing your mood and making you happy. So if you feel like you're getting grumpier the older you get, you may be lacking some B12 that's going to get that serotonin going. Without B12, there's a concern for clinical depression and deterioration of the brain. So proper B vitamins, taking them all together actually gets a synergy with them, helps them absorb. Make sure you especially have higher doses of B12 if you want to prevent your brain health. Adding in a simple multivitamin, or like I take my collagen with my multivitamin together, they're combined. Those are easy ways that you can get all 8 of the primary B vitamins and high doses of vitamin B12. Your brain will thank you. The 5th enemy that causes cognitive decline and poor brain health are free radicals, chemicals, and busted up chemical equations that now have floating around particles that are free radicals. Like radicals in your system causing all kinds of damage is what you can view them as. The combatant to these free radicals and your brain health are antioxidants. Interesting enough, the highest level of antioxidants that most of us get as Americans comes from coffee. So if that is your primary source, make sure you're getting it organic and as least processed as you can. Green leafy vegetables and fruits, low in sugar, full of antioxidants. The antioxidant powerhouse, though, that I'll highlight right here for brain health specifically, vitamin E. It functions as the mother of all antioxidants, actually protects other antioxidants, and it supports overall brain health. So vitamin E actually protects the brain from oxidative stress. So the production and the accumulation of this oxygen, this oxidative stress in the brain, if it's not balanced out, creates all kinds of damage and declines mental health. Some of the side effects of oxidative stress, if you're wondering if you actually have oxidative stress in the brain, the biggest warning signs of it are fatigue, memory loss, and reoccurring headaches, which makes sense. Or constant yawning. We're trying to get more oxygen to the brain. We're having a headache because we don't have enough oxygen to the brain. This might be the very thing that you need more antioxidants. And the best one for brain health is a simple vitamin E. Now, keep in mind, it is a fat-soluble vitamin. So vitamin E needs to be consumed with fat, which your brain loves already. So having an omega supplement, for example, that you're taking with vitamin E in it, that's one way to get it. Or taking fat-soluble vitamins together, vitamin A, D, E, and K, helps all of them get absorbed better. Make sure you take them with fat. Like my vitamin D complex comes with fat in it, and then these are all together. Very good for brain health. Vitamin E to fight off that fatigue, that memory loss, that fogginess, reoccurring headaches, vitamin E. The number 6 threat to brain health is lacking the material to build, the building blocks of the brain. And one of the main building blocks, one of the main raw materials that this building needs, amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of the neurotransmitters inside of your brain that are sending those messages. And so, for example, without amino acids, without tryptophan or 5-HTP as it's called, your brain couldn't produce serotonin. That's where the word again is, the feel-good hormone, right? Helps generate feelings of well-being and happiness. You can't produce it if you don't have certain amino acids. Very similarly, another common amino acid, L-tyrosine, is the precursor to dopamine, the neurotransmitter that's responsible for influencing our mood, our feelings of reward, motivation, overall satisfaction with life. So getting proper amino acids in and taking in complete proteins or nearly complete proteins will give you the sources of all these amino acids. So my favorites, eggs show up again. They're a complete protein, very good for the brain. Tuna, canned tuna, excellent source. 472 milligrams of tryptophan or 5-HTP per ounce of tuna. Turkey, chicken, other great sources of amino acids. Cheese in the raw form, make sure it's not processed. Nuts and seeds are great forms. And collagen protein powder. Now, collagen does not have tryptophan in it, so you'll want to be eating meats along with it, but collagen does have 19 different amino acids. So all very good options for giving your brain the building blocks so it can keep building and not be deteriorating. We want walls going up, not walls coming down. And number 7, which I think is the most impactful, number one thing that impacts your brain health, a brain on fire. I need like some fire coming out of my head when I do that. Brain on fire. There's been so many articles, magazine covers, Time magazine covers showing the detrimental effects of inflammation. 98% of diseases caused from it, specifically brain disorders, Alzheimer's, dementia, even Parkinson's, brain on fire. Inflammation in the brain is a major, major problem. Your brain consumes 60-70% of the sugar that is in your body, the glucose that is needed to produce energy. That's how you can just be sitting at your desk, not moving all day long and come home exhausted because your brain is just processing like crazy. You're working, even though you're not physically moving, your brain is spending a lot of energy. So this imbalance of the sugars that we're putting into our system, the lack of clean forms of that fuel that your brain has to try to run off of. And what happens is your brain is consuming lots of energy and it's like burning diesel fuel. You know, there's a soot. You ever been behind a diesel truck? It's coming through your AC and you're like, woo, you can really smell that. That's what your brain is like when it's burning a lot of unclean food, inflammatory food, or really processed sugar. So it's a brain on fire. It's kind of grinding through the day, and that's hard on it over time. That leads to brain decline. Stress adds a lot of this inflammation in the brain. Almost you can feel this when you're so stressed out. It's like, oh my gosh, I just need to unplug this thing to allow it to cool down. It's like an iron, it's red hot, right? When your brain is just firing and you're just dealing with a lot, you're just, oh, I need to get away. So brain on fire, this specific mechanism. Now, this is sort of a whole category in itself. There isn't one food I can give you to put this fire out. However, I did make a complete training to quickly start undoing the inflammation, specifically in your brain. And that's the next video I put right here. So you can get this stress under control, prevent the memory loss that comes from it, and cool off your main mechanism. Check out this next video right here so you can dive into inflammation of the brain.